Hi everyone and welcome to this video. First of all, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who's been commenting on the channel and reaching out to me and talking. It's been a really nice distraction. Yeah, I really hope everybody is doing okay. Well, some of you crazy people wanted to know what's going on with my modular, so let's do it. Let's take a look. I'm really excited about this modular build. So I'm building it quite slowly, of course. It's expensive. It takes time to find the right modules. And I've done this once before, and it kind of ended up just being a mono synth, and I sold everything because it just wasn't really of value, because I already have mono synths, and it was very expensive for that purpose. So what I've done this time around is it still covers mono synth duties, but I'm pushing towards it being a musical sound design tool. Still not quite there yet, but I'll show you what I got so far. Now, one of the great things about the modular is you get to select all the components, not just for functionality, but for the sound as well. And so the first unit we're going to look at here, one of the first things I bought when I built the new modular and decided, I want the inputs and outputs to do something as well. Because I don't have rack gear, I don't have a studio-based rack gear, so this gives me a little bit of options as far as coloration goes. So this is a Vermona TAI4. It's got 2 inputs, 2 outputs, and you can use them as a stereo pair, or you can drive the input to the output and back into the input and then out again, so you can sort of double up on the effects. And the reason you might want to do that is because with these volume controls, you can push this unit into saturation. So you can saturate the transformers, you get this really awesome analog saturation, coloration, and clipping. And the clipping, shaving off the peaks, gives you this really loud perceived volume, and I think it's just fantastic, and I love having the option to do it right there. Next we have the Behringer Model D. What a fantastic synth this is. The reason why I have it racked up, well, it's kind of neat and tidy for me, but I found it to be extremely useful because you get the separate components of this. You get inputs and outputs for them, so I can integrate this to the rest of my modular. So you can control your oscillators from, say, an analog sequencer, for example. You can take the oscillators out here, you can mix things in and use the filter section, and you've got envelopes here as well as an LFO. LFO out is here. So I use this as the mono synth part of my modular. It sounds really good. It's 3 oscillators. It tracks really well. Having said that, my unit is flat, but so I just have to tune it up here, and it's still not quite exactly right, so I can use oscillator 2 in that case and just push the tune up slightly. I mean, maybe there's actually a tune pot on the back that might help with that. So it's flat overall, but once you get it tuned, it tracks really well. So if anyone wants to get started in the modular synth area, you get this. You can get the Neutron. It's probably just as good. I like the Moog sound personally, but the Neutron has all the patch points separate and has a lot more going on. But this is a fantastic unit for the price. I don't see how you can get a better start in modular. Although having said that, Behringer did just announce a whole new line of modules, but still, I like this a lot. Next, we should take a look then at some of the more specific modules that I've bought for the synth. Alright, so getting into the thick of it here with some of the modules that I've chosen. This is my MIDI interface. Essentially, I go MIDI in. That's not USB MIDI, it's just straight MIDI, as you can see here. What I like about this unit, aside from the lovely build quality and design, you can go polyphonic and use each one of these as like consecutive notes. You can actually split it and say, hey, use 1 and 2 for this channel, 3 and 4 for this channel, or in my case, 1, 2, 3 on one channel of MIDI, and the 4th one does another channel of MIDI. All of this is done just by flicking this edit button around, and it's actually very intuitive. I have a video on it on my channel. For example, one of the reasons I've got just 3 channels handling polyphonic sound is because I have the chainsaw that has 3 CV inputs. Next up is the shapeshifter. This is a mental module. It's a complex oscillator. Basically, it's 2 oscillators. It's digital, and the oscillators are wavetables. So you get a lot of variety of sound, but you also get very, very high rate modulation between the oscillators. So you get very, very clean FM. It can also run in chord mode, and it's got some other really cool tricks as well. I'll be doing a separate video on that. There's already some good ones out there, but crazy enough, as long as those videos are, there's still stuff in here that hasn't really been shown very much on YouTube from what I've seen. Just subtle things that I would like to demonstrate in my video. I'm probably going to do like a nice tutorial on it at some point as well. Next to it is a chainsaw. You just all saw the video I put up on that. It's a super saw in modular with 3 CV inputs, so it can do 3 3 notes. So it's kind of polyphonic like that. It's a little difficult to really make that work in a modular setup. You have to have 4 envelopes and 4 VCAs if you're really going to do it, or 3 in this case. But you typically buy quad sets. It's not too expensive if you do buy quad envelopes and quad VCAs from like Dopever, but it's not really the primary focus for me right now. But what's cool about this as well is it is stereo. So I followed that up with, I made sure I got some stereo filters as well. And you can see right here, the first stereo filter I have is from Vermona. So I've got a fair bit of Vermona gear already. Absolutely lovely unit. Great build quality. Sounds actually really good. One of the nice things as well is the way it saturates. So I want to do a whole separate video on that for you guys too. Now, full disclosure, I was given the super saw for videos. So basically I have it now to make videos for Acid Rain. I've got to make a couple more. Similar deal with FX8 from Happy Nerding. I have a video on that, so if you want to hear that, I got plenty of examples on that. Then the filter here from Happy Nerding is absolutely beautiful. It's a very nice compact stereo filter. I mean, look at the size of the Vermona one I just showed you compared to the size of this one. And it's very, very simple. So, of course, you got less options, but if you just want a stereo filter that sounds great, this is a fantastic option. And it's a very good price too. The maths. Now, this is very important to me because the maths have some great options for choosing the curve of the envelope. Now, that's really important to me. With the envelopes that came, for example, in the Behringer, which is what I was using before, couldn't really get a very like super tight, crisp pluck sound. And, you know, for me, for what I do, that's really important. So I absolutely love the maths. If I was to, let's see, let me demonstrate that real quick. So we plug something into the trigger here. So here's an example with the snappiness of the maths. So fantastic sound right away, and you can also modulate this as well, which is really handy. I love doing that. I mean, the way this is built, it's really easy for me to get this really lovely sound out of it right away. The other nice thing I got going on here is the Talon. Now, this is a VCA, but unlike other VCAs, it's got 2 distortion modes on it. So if you want you got one kind of distortion on the top and the bottom as well. So on the top you got symmetric, and below that you got asymmetric. So if we on another signal it would be more apparent, but one thing we can do is patch it into itself to kind of amplify that effect. Now you can really hear that distortion. And we can flip it, make it clean here. Switch it to symmetric. So again, some more nice analog distortion. Keep safe, everyone, and I would love to hear more from you guys in the comments below. Take care.